Hello, guys. Welcome back to another In Love with Me episode. I am your host, Mafae Velasco. As you can see, we have such a beautiful woman as a special guest this afternoon. She has done so much in her life. I've known her for so many years, I believe, and I am so happy to share with you Krystle today. So, without further ado, let's hear from her and how she's been doing, especially during this time. Hi, Krystle.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Thanks for joining me. And I know you're going to be sharing a lot of inspiring words. Most especially now, I've seen that you have studied to be a transformative coach.
Yes.
That's really interesting. But before we talk about that, I want you to share a little bit about your story. As you guys saw that Krystle is so beautiful when it comes to photos. She's done quite a time in the fashion industry, the pageant industry. Can you tell us a little bit about that first?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start there. So I grew up in the States and my parents, so I'm a first generation American. Both my parents are from the Philippines. And I mean, always in Philippine culture, we all know pageants are huge. And so I got asked to do a pageant when I was 15, and that's where my pageantry journey began. Um, from there, when I was 18, I joined a pageant in San Francisco. It was called Miss Teen Filipina, and I won. And someone just happened to see my photo and was like, "Hey, can you connect us to her? We want to invite her to join Miss Earth, Miss Philippines Earth, which is a national pageant here." And when they asked me, I was like, "What? Free trip to the Philippines? Heck yeah, I'm going." With honestly, I had no idea how big of a pageant this was. I had no idea it was a national pageant. Like I heard the words, but it didn't click. I was just like, okay, I'm down to do a quick pageant. Little did I know this pageant would change my life forever. I ended up placing and having to stay for a year. And I was 19 at the time, so there wasn't anything in particular that I was so drawn to that I wanted to do with my life.
Right.
My parents were like, yeah, be a nurse. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. But this was really my escape. That year was my escape to leave California, to stop babysitting my siblings, to really just be on my own.
Yeah.
And if you were here during that time in the Philippines, it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
I met so many people. I met friends from everywhere, from like you're from Australia. I had other friends from different parts of the States, from Canada, local friends. And I just met this whole group of people that I wanted to keep hanging out with and be around. And I begged my parents to stay after that year was done because I've made friends. I've gotten to a relationship. There was just so many reasons for me to stay.
Right.
And as scary as that was, it was what I wanted. And as that time went on, things were still fun because I was able to model. That was something I really wanted to do. And I had a taste of the fashion industry. And I mean, there was their ups and downs with that, of course, insecurities, comparing, all of that. But the hardest part about that was really my relationship. The relationship I was in at that time it had become super toxic. My ex at the time was in the party scene. He worked in the entertainment scene. And so I was going out a lot, which all young people do. There's nothing wrong with that. But what was hard about it was his influence on me. It was like he became very abusive. He was verbally, mentally, physically abusive. And that took a big toll on me, and a big toll on plans I had for myself. Like, I wanted to be a model that was going to be on all these billboards and commercials. And although that did happen, I feel like it could have gone further if I didn't allow such a toxic energy to be around me. I allowed his voice to take over my voice, and what he said went. If he's like, no, I don't want you to do that, then I wouldn't do it. And and we were together for about 3 years. And it was, one of the toughest parts of my life because I completely lost myself. I allowed someone to completely take over and just diminish me. Like, I was just nowhere to be found. I would look in the mirror and I just wouldn't know who I was. What did I represent? What was my purpose? I couldn't answer any of those if you asked me then because I had no clue. My purpose was to just be there and listen. And people are always like, oh, what was that?
At the same time, you're really young at the time. So
yes,
it was more of respecting, I guess, his lead because you thought that, okay, he's more experienced, he's older, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Go on.
Exactly. He was older. He had been in the Philippines longer than me. So he was the one introducing me to different people. And although you do have that gut feeling, like your intuition is telling you, like, don't listen, don't follow that. But I ignored it. I ignored all those signs. And I was like, no, like I don't know who I am without this person. So I cannot, like, I don't want to listen to myself. I can't listen to myself. I'm only listening to this person. And it was tough. It was, like I said, it was one of the hardest parts of my life. But in that time, I had a cousin pass away, and that just rocked my world because she was so young. She was younger than me. At the time I was 23 and she was only 19. And it was so unexpected. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to join Beanie Beaning because I've been wanting to. I keep saying, okay, next year. And I joined finally. And I did. And I put in so much work. I took care of my body. I listened to my coaches. I did everything. And honestly, I didn't even make top 10 and it crushed me. It crushed me. But I also realized that I was growing. I wasn't there anymore. I wasn't that girl that enjoyed being in pageants anymore. I didn't like that stage anymore. It wasn't me anymore. Like, I wasn't that girl that was just able to smile and be happy around people. But I also realized that was okay, that I needed to feel that. But in that journey, I met so many people and I started to do so many things on my own. And I started to realize that I could really be on my own and be okay.
Yeah.
That I didn't need him anymore because I made friends outside of our group of friends. I was doing things on my own. I wasn't going out with him. I was going out by myself.
Yeah.
And it just gave me that strength to be like, okay, I know this is going to hurt you too, but I can't care about you anymore because the love wasn't there. The love wasn't there for him. It wasn't there for myself.
Yeah.
But I knew I had to escape that because if I looked into my future, I couldn't stand seeing him there. And so when we finally broke up, it was just incredibly freeing. Like, wow, I finally left this person that had been pulling me down for so long. And that was just part of that wasn't even the healing part. You know what I mean? Like, right there is just phase one of moving on from a toxic relationship like that. Moving forward, a year later, I meet Carl, who is my husband now. And a year after we meet, I get pregnant, and this is completely unexpected. So I'm like, dude, where am I going to catch a break? Not that pregnancy is like, oh, terrible, but of course not. My daughter's everything, but it wasn't in my plan.
Mhm.
And so here we are, still not completely sure what I want to do with my life. He's trying to get his life together too. So here we are, two 25-year-olds trying to figure life out. And now we've added a baby to the mix.
Yeah.
It's like, what the F? And we went through some really, really trying times.
Mhm.
And but the difference between my past relationship and my relationship now is at this time I had a secure partner. I
Right.
had a genuine partner that loved me for me and wanted to support everything I did. If I said I want to be on that billboard, he'd be like, "Oh, you could totally be on that billboard. Like, go do it, try that." And he would gas me up even if I couldn't gas myself up. sometimes I Sometimes we feel like, oh, we need to be in this like perfect state of mind to find that person to love me. And
Mhm.
honestly, I don't believe that, because I was in such a bad place when I met my husband. I still didn't know who I was. I had freed myself from, that toxic relationship. But just because you free yourself doesn't necessarily mean you found yourself. I
Right.
still haven't found myself. I was still lost. I still had no understanding of who I was and what exactly it was that I wanted.
Yeah.
So being able to find him and grow together had been just an amazing experience, and it still is.
Yes.
But like I said, having my daughter was really difficult, but she was what I needed to inspire me to be that strong figure, to be that woman in her life that when she looks up, she's like, damn, that's my mom.
Yeah.
And she's done it all. And to have that fearlessness of who cares what anyone else thinks, what anyone else is doing, what anyone else is going to say, like it doesn't affect us.
Right.
Like the only thing that affects my little family is us.
Mhm.
And that's when that's when my F it mode came on, turned on, and was like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. I totally see it, like I said earlier in the introduction, yeah, I've known Krystle even before kids, even, just her finding her way, going to pageants. I remember that time of your life. And, I have to say congratulations first and foremost. I mean, this year started off really nice for your family, for you and Carl. You guys got married this January, right?
Yeah,
So
we did.
that's amazing. I mean, I've watched you guys grow, and I know Nick also, respects Carl and has he's a good friend to my husband too. So I love the fact that you are growing, and even with your businesses. I have someone here saying, Mafae, I love your shirt. So this shirt, guys, is actually one of her daughter's campaigns. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
You're a boss. Now she's become like a boss daughter, because of
And
you.
that's what I'm telling her. Like, if she says she wants to make something, I'm like, yes, let's make that. Let's do it. But this was really personal for both of us because, I mean, as you can see, I'm really fair skinned, but my husband is not, and neither is my daughter. He has passed those genes on to her, and she has beautiful brown skin. But from the moment she was a baby, people already felt like they could put in their 2 cents about
Yeah.
the color of her skin. They were like, oh, she's so dark. Why is she so dark? And I'm like, are you serious? She's a baby.
Yeah. All right.
And honestly, I sometimes I'd want to cry because I'm just like, how could you place judgment on my child? She's an innocent girl, and I understand that there's so much conditioning that's, you know, placed on a lot of us. A lot,
Right.
especially here in Asia, where people are growing up thinking that light skin is nice. You're passing by billboards that show you, oh, look at this whitening product. You will become beautiful if you're white. And I realized, and this is something we knew from the start, but it really started to set in when she was about 6, when she started to realize that people were making these comments, and she started to look at herself a little differently. And we'd start to have these talks where I'd tell her, like, your skin is beautiful. People love to be dark too. You know, some people do like to be light. We can't lie and say that some people don't want this in their lives, because some people do. Some people strive to be white. But that doesn't mean that has to be you. You need to embrace your beautiful brown skin. And this is why we created these statement tees, to show how ugly it is. Yeah, and you know, she wears it and she's like, yes. Yeah, she gets complimented every time she wears it. When she wears it, she just feels so proud. And that was the purpose of that. We wanted to inspire and empower other young girls and women who have suffered or are suffering through people placing judgment on them because of the color of their skin. And, you know, letting them know that those are deeply rooted issues that they have, but these don't have to be your issues. You can be proud of who you are.
So moving forward let's talk about your career now. As a transformative coach, what is it exactly that you do? I mean, of course, we've heard your stories, and I know that that's what made you strong. You know, that's what made you who you are. And how did that come about? How did you start wanting to be a life coach?
So it's funny because I actually wanted to start life coaching when I was 24, and I'm 32 now, but I got pregnant with my daughter. And so I was like, okay, I can't do this now. Like, there's no way I could even try to be pregnant and figure out life while going to school. That was my mindset then. And it was really tough. But looking back, I'm like, okay, that's probably a great thing that happened, because I can't even, wait, could you hold on 1 second?
Yes, go for it.
Oh, sorry.
Super mom right here, guys, multitasking. So if you just tuned in and joined us, I am interviewing or featuring Krystle Dizon-Dehesa. She is a transformative coach. She's had experience in the modeling industry, in the pageantry, and she's become this strong boss lady who has businesses, even teaching her own daughter, advocacies. And we were in the middle of talking about how she became a transformative coach. So go ahead.
Okay. But fast forward, I'm happy that, you know, things didn't play out the way I had planned, because I don't have the insight that I have now. I wouldn't be able to share the experiences. My experiences could have been different.
Right.
But so it has been something that I wanted to do, but I put on the side for so long, until finally I decided a few years ago, like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm focused. I'm focused now. I'm ready. We got this. I had already started a few businesses, so I was just in a completely different mindset, and I was ready to share. And that's the beauty of coaching, is you get to share and empower. And I was in a place where I was ready to do that.
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying that, when you have children, you're like a superhero. Like this, you just have to have those powers. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's challenging or not. It's like, okay, I'm taking care of another human being. Like, she's constantly looking at me and what I'm doing. I mean, I think that's now we're somewhat speaking the same language. As you can see, I'm always trying to collaborate with supermoms like you, or want to participate in supporting your campaigns or advocacies, because as a mom, it's not easy. You pretty much said it. Like, as a 25-year-old, both you and your husband were like, oh no, we want to do something, but then, okay, there's this little person coming out. Exactly. So with that, I've seen your one of your clients have been really super happy with what you've been doing in her life, and it's always amazing to see strong individuals make others' life like more. I guess they're embracing it more
Yeah.
than what they have been doing. So, as a life coach, of course, you have times, like I said before, you had toxic people around you, but now that you're in a somewhat a happy place, your environment is more loving. There are times, of course, as moms, as women, we have our off days,
Oh yeah.
So, how, how do you motivate yourself and snap out of it? Because, of course, we cannot have off days.
Yes, that's okay. Off days are tough because as much as we want to go in the bathroom and cry and scream our heads off, we can't lock ourselves there all day.
Right,
We have
exactly.
children to feed. So what I do is I do try to sneak away for a little bit,
Mhm.
even if it's just for 5 minutes to decompress.
Right.
And in my thought process, I'm thinking, what happened? What's triggering me?
Mhm.
What in this situation is really making me upset? And then breathe. I honestly just breathe it out because there isn't time where I have someone to talk to and be like, okay, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. And so I have to have that self talk, that
Right.
positive self talk, because you also have that negative self talk where you're like, okay, like it's not happening for you today. You suck today. And if I go throughout the whole day like that, things aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's a domino effect. If I'm not feeling it, Carl's not feeling it, the kids aren't feeling it, and we're all in like a shithole.
To be real.
Yeah, and that's real. But if I really want everyone else to feel, you know, like, okay, we're all good, things are happening, mommy's not having the best mood, but, you know, we got this, we can all do this. I just need to decompress and breathe. And really honestly, just be kind to myself. Be kind to
Right.
myself, understand that, yeah, I'm not in the best mood right now, and that's okay. But I can't take
Right.
it out on everybody else right now.
So let's put it in the line of the challenging times right now. We're all somewhat forced to stay home, and of course, we have the luxury of going out or just decompressing or relaxing with our family. Let's say to the park, to the mall, or anything like that. So, what is the most challenging right now for you? And you did say that you try to sneak away for 5 minutes, but is that still the same, or have you learned something new to help you?
Yes. I think a big thing that I've learned right now is to stay present and to give myself a lot of grace.
Mhm.
Um, Being present, meaning I'm staying off social media in terms of I'm not clicking on clickbait. I'm
Right.
not clicking on, I'm not watching the news. I'm not doing things that are going to trigger me.
Mhm.
A lot of things are up in the air right now and we're so unsure. But
Mhm.
I don't want to live in fear and I don't want to give whatever we feel we pass down to our kids. I don't want my
Yeah.
kids to live in fear.
Mhm.
So we try to stay present and we have learned a lot together. We've gotten into baking. If you guys follow me, see, I'm like over here making hella bread.
Yeah, your bread. Wow. I want
Uh,
to too.
oh, I'm like, dang, okay, go me. But there's also a lot of power in habits. So
Mhm.
I, Carl and I both try to stick to a routine. But like I said, with grace, it's not like, oh, okay, up by this time, this and this and this. It's more like, okay, I'm up. I need water. I need coffee. I meditate. I try to get a workout in, and I incorporate the kids in the workout because I can't escape them as much as I would like to escape them. And then I try to get some work done.
For a second.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. I'm like, how can I sit in the car?
Okay, so who is there anyone, or I'm sure even before you had your family, you had people that you looked up to that inspired you. So who were they then and who are they now?
Okay. My mom has always been a huge driving force in my life. She inspires me so much because she has had 5 children, worked a full-time job. Since she raised us in the States, so it's not like she had any helpers or anything. She was doing the best she could with what she had. And I didn't give her enough credit for it until I became a mom.
Right.
And so she still is my inspiration,
Mhm.
because she's 60 now and she's still doing her thing. She still works. She still takes care of her grandkids, and she's she's just someone that still feels like home to me. And of course, she's my mom. She always will.
Mhm.
So, like, when I do have those off days or if I'm feeling really sick, I'm like, oh, I want my mom.
Yeah, there's a time, I think there was something I learned also, like the stages of our lives where, um, as daughters, it's
Mhm.
like they're young, we need them, and then there's a certain stage of the teenage years, we kind of like leave us alone. And then
Yeah.
when you become a mom, it's like, Mom, I'm calling her every day. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how true is that. I'm sure your mom used to tell you, wait till you become a mom, you'll understand what I'm saying or doing. But at that
Yeah.
time, we were like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, me, my partner, I have my partners in this project, Thea, Jenna, Mara. We're launching a blog called Virago
Mhm.
very soon. And
Okay.
it's for mothers, and it's strictly for moms. It's not going to be a site that's going to tell you, hey, here are like 5 things you can do with your kid. Like, no, kids are not allowed. For the moms, because we all need that outlet. And I wrote a journal style entry similar to what you just said.
Nice. I can't wait to read it. Yeah, let me know so that I can also let all the mommy groups that I'm part of to to watch it. You know, this that's what's lovely now as a mom is that there's so many groups that
Yeah.
support, make sure that you're not alone.
Right.
Especially even if this time everybody's transitioning to homeschooling. You know, your children are still young, but you've been homeschooling them from the beginning. So, you know, I know Noah. How old is Noah now? Is she already in school? So, what activities have you been doing with her? And of course, Naz. I'm sure he's there
Not
too.
just running wild. He's just running wild, torturing all of us. But Noah and I, it's been really nice. This time I feel like we've gotten a lot closer. I mean, we were already really close, but we've gotten even more closer because we, of course, are stuck together. But I feel like I've also gotten to understand her on a different level.
Mhm.
And I'm just seeing, like, yeah, she is mature, but I'm really seeing how mature she is and how she processes things and how she reacts and how I react. And
Yeah.
how, sometimes I'm really the reason why there could be tension between us sometimes, not necessarily her, me not having the patience to understand her. And so I've been a lot more patient with her, and I feel like we've gotten a lot closer, and she feels that too. And we've gone into baking, and she loves being in the kitchen. She's like asking us every day, like, can I make you a salad? Because she just wants to chop lettuce.
But I do remember when you had Bad Apple with
Yes.
Noah was always there, even when you were in Salcedo Market. She was the one, you know, trying to get customers in, along with
Yeah.
Thea's son. So
I
that
made
was
a sales tactic, like, go ask these people. They're not going to say no to you.
great. You know, you have kids for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, you want to build them to become business people too.
Yes. And it's important because I want her to have her own mind and for her to understand she doesn't need to work for anyone to be happy or feel security. She can do it on her own and secure herself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, you know, you're doing a perfect, you've been building businesses left and right. You know, I've been following them from Bad Apple to your kids event, the youth stock. You
yeah,
know, I really love that.
me
You want to
too.
tell us a little bit how that came about?
Yeah, so it's funny because I got into events through Bad Apple. Bad Apple
Mhm.
is a business I used to do with my partner Thea. They were caramel apples, and we would join events like Gourmand or, those food style events. And one day I was like, man, let's do our own. Like, let's
Yeah.
just try it. And this is when I started to get a little more fearless in, my endeavors. So uh, my my friend John Jay and I, we threw an event called Bite Me Manila at Black Market, and from there we just started throwing events like food and music and just tying everything we loved into one event.
Yeah.
And so we had Bite Me Manila, which then later inspired by Bite Me and by my daughter was Youth Stock.
Yeah.
And Youth Stock is a kids music and arts festival.
Mhm.
And it's really an event that brings the family together and
Yeah.
experience all mediums of art in an outdoor setting where
Mhm.
everyone can just party together, and
Yeah.
for kids to experience art, because it's sad that people have taken away from schools, or you have to pay an arm and a leg to get private lessons.
Yeah.
So it's really a place for kids to really just be a kid and have fun, let loose, and be inspired by your
Yeah.
peers. Because we have kids perform and they're amazing. They're like
Yeah.
some of the most talented people I know.
Mhm. And speaking of that, Alexis is watching. Alexis Urbistondo. She is such an amazing dancer. Hi, Alexis.
She was our first performer before we even had Youth Stock. She
Mhm.
came up with a whole entire routine for Bite Me, and it was amazing. Her 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 and her kids, they always draw in such a huge crowd. They're so amazing. They're so beautiful. We love you guys.
Yeah, we missed you. We missed the hula classes. But
Yes.
anyways, so yeah, going back to now being a coach, apart from a business owner, I mean, you're still a business owner when it comes to, empowering individuals, and now I'm more so women. Um, what is the most rewarding part of your job?
Oh
If you
man.
can share with us?
Honestly, doing the events was so much fun, and it's still fun. But at the end of each event, I still kind of felt like, okay, what's next?
Yeah,
What's next? Like you're still looking for that next, like almost a high, because there
yeah.
there's still like a lack of purpose in it that served me. And
Hmm.
I think I came to realize like that was serving other people, and
Hmm.
that was okay too, because I still have fun doing it.
Hmm.
But coaching has just been so fulfilling because I'm helping someone who's I've been that girl. I've been that
Yeah.
girl that's so lost, that doesn't understand, that doesn't have that guidance, that doesn't
Hmm.
know which direction to go into, because there's just so many thoughts in my head that I can't clear out. So much self-hate, so much self-doubt. And I'm so clouded here. I've been that girl, and it was so hard to get out of that place. It took years, and if I had if I had seeked for help, things could have gone
Hmm.
so much easier. If I wasn't so
Hmm.
prideful, if I didn't have so much of an ego to think like I can do it by myself, I'll figure it out, then I could have gotten to where I am probably a lot sooner. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of coaching, is I'm helping this generation of women understand that they have the power to do whatever they want. They just need to understand that there are traumas that we have, and we can get over that, and you have to work through that, and we can work through that together. And that if you have these dreams, I can help you make goals and set plans to achieve these dreams. And it's just really been so fulfilling.
Yeah, and then it's just a perfect time for people like you to be in this type of career, or this support, because there's a lot of people that are unsure of what's happening in the future, or just people being alone because, like I said earlier, we're stuck at home, so not everybody has the luxury of having other people with them, their families. I know there's people reaching out to me also, like, thanking me for these features. That's why I wanted to make sure I got you on it. I wanted all the life coaches that I know to inspire everyone. I love the fact that you were very transparent with your story, because that's what people need to hear,
Yeah.
especially right now. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
You, for us to be strong at how you meet us now, there's a backstory,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm thankful for your life story, because if you didn't go through what you did, then you wouldn't be the strong person you are today. And
Right.
that really helps a lot of people. I mean, the youth most especially, because like that, you had a dream. You had to, you wanted to come to the Philippines and fulfill a passion, and not knowing how you were going to do it, who you're going to meet. Um, I think we were in the same boat. That's why we were all kind of uh, we all gelled together, because we were all like the same. We all grew up somewhere else outside of the Philippines. Coming here, we're all excited, but then did not expect what we expected. And then
Oh,
all of a sudden, I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, for me, my parents spoke Tagalog to me in Australia, but I did still have a hard time speaking Tagalog. But now, of course, I'm okay. But during that time, I really looked for others who spoke English, because
yeah.
I'm like, oh no, who am I going to talk to without being teased?
Yeah.
So it was really nice. I think during our time, yeah, it was nice to have people already there that had the same kind of background and challenges. But yeah, so you're doing events, right? Of course, you're hopeful that this will be it'll pass. That's what I tell everybody. It'll pass. So, what can you say to others who are doing events, or even wanting to do fashion shows and things that gather people? That, of course, the new norm is different. We cannot have big gatherings. What can you motivate? What words of inspiration can you share with them?
If you have that, if you're in events, then you're most likely a creative, because you're coming up with different ideas and scenarios, and it's all in your head. And so you need to, what's best, I think, is to find another creative outlet
Mm-hmm.
digitally.
Right.
Right now, all we can do is do things on a digital platform, and don't let people not being able to physically come together stop you. Create a platform where you can still bring these people together for the same purpose. People will still come, people will still show up, and it will still be a creative outlet for you. And as long as you stand by a purpose,
Yeah.
right people, it will resonate with the right people, and they'll show up.
And like yesterday, I was talking to Kimmy, and we did a workshop with Kimmy, right?
Yeah.
And it's spot on, and I've always been using it ever since I heard it from her. Is that you're at the right place at the right time with the right people,
Right.
and that means so much, because things do happen for a reason. We need
Yes.
to understand it now or at the present moment, but then when you move forward and look back, it's like, oh, okay, that's why that happened. Even though it
Yeah.
hurts bad, that's why that happened. You know,
Right. Exactly.
and that's why I respect you, Krystle, and what you do. Like, even the way that you showcase your family, the way your bond is so pure and so intact. You're such an inspiration to a lot of people. I mean, for me especially, because I know you, I know what you've been through, and it's just
Yeah.
what, if she can do it, then anybody else can do it. And just
Yeah.
like Krystle said, you just have to find those support groups. Kimilu also explained to me that her job, like she herself needs a life coach too. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Do you have that same sentiment? Like, do you have
Yeah.
people that are always consulting with you, or you're consulting with?
Yeah, because we're always in a place, we're not always going to be okay. We can't
Yeah.
always stay in this place where we're constantly only inspiring and we're not getting inspired.
Mhm.
Uh, and and I'm still learning about myself too. You know, as time goes by, I'm going to hit different roadblocks,
Yeah.
and I still need to be able to talk through these roadblocks. And if I keep doing it alone, I'm still going to take that slower road to get there. Doesn't mean I won't get there, but I
Yeah.
probably won't get there as fast. And so being able to be transparent with someone and really put all my feelings on the table, and to be able to talk through those feelings with someone is super important to me and my personal growth. And that's me showing up for myself, giving me myself that self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what self-love is, like
Yeah.
showing up for yourself and being there and understanding what you need and taking care of that. And so I
Exactly.
definitely have a coach, and she's amazing.
Yeah. So just like that, what Krystle expressed is that you need to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. You know, you can't expect, like, as moms, you know, if
Yeah.
we don't eat, if we don't, you know, like, even take care of our health,
Yeah.
how are we going to have the strength, or to, you know, have the right state of mind to take care of our children? So that's what that means. I know a lot of people, or other people, have different opinions about self-love, but, you know, for me, it's the campaign of promoting mental health, because it's real right now. And I
Yeah.
want to thank Krystle, you know, for being the strong boss lady, super mama she is. And your beautiful daughter wrote on the comments saying, "I love you, mommy," and, you know, she's watching, even though she's in the other room. But yeah, we can talk more, and, you know, I think this is the right time to express to my students, to everybody who needs a shoulder to lean on, or just an ear. I'll share Krystle's Instagram handle, and then you can reach out to her. I'm sure she's open
Yeah.
to talk to you, to give you, you know, a positive mindset advices, and maybe you can join her classes. You know, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
But Krystle, thank you for taking your
Thank
some a little of your precious time. I know you're super busy there, but let's talk some more. I'm pretty sure there's more that we can talk about in the future and collaborate with. So
I do want to say thank you to you, because when we did have that workshop with Kimmy,
yeah.
we did an exercise, and I think it was about fear or something. And Mafe had
Mm.
whispered in my ear something like, "Don't don't be scared to, like, something about being fearless and not letting people dictate whether I make a move or not, because I'm already doing it."
Yeah.
I was just like, and honestly, I had chills when she said that. And, you know, it's really gestures like that that
Mm.
are so impactful and so powerful, because you never know how little things like that, little sentiments like that, can make such a huge impact on someone. So I want to
Yeah.
say thank you to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we just need to support each other. You know,
Yeah.
that's our calling, really, on this earth. But again, thank you, Krystle. You know, everything that she mentioned here, all her stories, is from her heart. So I'm grateful, and I hope everybody else is grateful. And, you know, my husband, he's gonna laugh because he keeps telling me in these features, you should have a closer. You have to have people to remember. So here it is.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Right on. Yes. 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 That's
so go ahead and do what you want to do. This is a time, you have a lot of time to write things down, journal, just like what Krystle said. You know, this is the time that you can see your to-do list, your bucket list, put it down, all right, and spread positivity. So
yeah.
again, thank you for joining us for another episode of In Love with Me series. Thank you, Krystle. Watch out for our other inspiring guests. We have another one at 4 o'clock. So I'll see you guys then. And these teas, ask Krystle about it too if you want.
I only
It's
have a
so
few more.
awesome. Well,
All
there you
right.
go. You guys better cut it. Get yours. Okay, see you, Krystle. Thank you again.